Hey, Jarek here, and every year I buy the new Call of Duty game and put a ton of time into it. Some of these games I love, some of these games I hate. So let's rank them from worst to best. Please keep in mind this video is entirely talking about multiplayer. Single player is totally irrelevant to these rankings, just multiplayer. And I'm starting at Call of Duty 4 and on. Most people, when they think of Call of Duty multiplayer, they think of the Call of Duty 4 format, so that's where we'll begin. I do need to disqualify some games right away. Those are the games that came out before Call of Duty 4. Along with Call of Duty Mobile, that is a valid multiplayer game, but I have no clue where I'd put that in this list. It's kind of actually what I want from a Call of Duty game, just if it was on PC. I mean, it's basically a greatest hits of Call of Duty history, but they'd never release that on PC or consoles because then people would only play that and not the new game that came out every year. The last game to disqualify is one that I haven't played. Even though I play the new Call of Duty game every single year, there was one I missed. And that was the Call of Duty 4 remaster. Activision made the bafflingly stupid decision to attach it to Infinite Warfare, to the point of where you needed to have the Infinite Warfare disc in your console to even access the Call of Duty 4 remake. That was beyond dumb, so I just didn't bother buying it. By the time they separated it from Infinite Warfare, the player base was dwindling, so I never ended up buying it. So it could be anywhere in this list, I don't know. Okay, let's actually move to this list now, starting at the worst Call of Duty multiplayer experience of all time. In my opinion, this is easily Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 embodies everything I don't want in a Call of Duty game. I'm not a fan of the jetpack Call of Duty games. I also don't like hero shooters. Black Ops 4 had an absolute ton of movement, easily could re-stim yourself, it had slow time to kill, and had hero shooter mechanics. Great, it's like a best hits of everything I despise. If I wanted any of this, I would just go play Titanfall 2 instead. It's like they poached all the ideas from other more successful franchises of that day and decided to try to turn it into Call of Duty. It didn't work. Next up is the game that I feel most of you probably would have put in last place, Infinite Warfare. This game is the one that truly killed jetpack Call of Duties. Call of Duty was never going to space again after this one. When the trailer for Infinite Warfare dropped, it was something like the 25th most disliked video on YouTube at its time. Even if you like jetpack Call of Duty, this one was simply not as good as the ones that came before. And from the worst jetpack Call of Duty to the first, Advanced Warfare. To Advanced Warfare's credit, it definitely tried something new. That something new was just something I did not like. It was a polished game, and if this is your thing, then it was fine. I don't have much more to say. I do not appreciate the jetpack aspect of Advanced Warfare. Next up is Call of Duty World War II. Finally, we're out of the jetpack games. Unfortunately, we're back into World War II. I don't hate the World War II setting, but this game didn't really do anything to set itself apart from the other Call of Duty games. Now, I like Call of Duty's multiplayer formula, and that would have been fine, but it just seemed to lack anything satisfying. The guns certainly didn't have any punch to them. The maps weren't memorable. I don't have much to say about it. It just doesn't have that AAA feel that you're used to with a Call of Duty game, and it's as mid as you can get. Next up is Call of Duty Ghosts. This has a lot of the same problems that World War II did, except for it was trying to follow up on Call of Duty games that were extremely good. I mean, this came out a year after Black Ops 2. That kind of whiplash made people really hate this game, probably more than they should have. It's not truly terrible, but it's not good either. Alright, this next one may make people a little upset. It is rather low for what it is. That's Black Ops 3. It is easily the best game out of the jetpack era. Unfortunately, it's still in the jetpack era. I'm not a fan of wall running, not a fan of double jumping, although double jumping was a lot slower in this game, so it was a little bit more palatable. The thing that really turned me off from it were the hero shooter mechanics. I hate randomly dying to things you can't predict. Effectively, they just gave people kill streaks on a timer and didn't warn you. I'm also not a fan of longer time to kill in a Call of Duty game. Longer time to kill as a concept is fine, I just don't think it fits in Call of Duty. But despite how much I'm not a fan of this game, I cannot deny that it is certainly more polished and a better game than both Ghosts and World War II. Next up is another Treyarch game, Cold War. So the jetpacks are now gone, and so are the hero shooter mechanics, which is nice, but movement is still rather fast and time to kill is still rather slow, two things I don't like. On top of that, this came out a year after Modern Warfare 2019. You remember how good the guns felt in Modern Warfare 2019? Well, none of that applies to Cold War. I don't know, I'm more indifferent about this game than anything. I don't hate it, I don't like it, I'll probably never go back to playing it. It just exists. Now we're getting to some of the classic ones. Call of Duty World at War. Yeah, it was basically just Call of Duty 4 in World War II, but it's classic Treyarch. Hell, they're still remaking some of the maps from this game. It's not my favorite, but at minimum, I would put it at B tier. meaning if I was making a true tier list, every game from here on out are some of the best in the entire franchise. Most of these are probably A tier with a few in S tier. This next one I wouldn't put in A tier though, I'd probably put it in B tier. That's Modern Warfare 2 2022, or as I like to call it, Too Modern, Too Warfare. Now keep in mind, I'm making this video in the middle of its content cycle, and currently as of right now, it's got a huge lack of content problem. That really is my biggest complaint about it. I just get bored really quick. There's not many maps, there's not too many guns, there could be less, but there could be more. And overall, things just don't stand out. I don't have any extreme feelings about this game. I don't really hate any map, I don't really love any map. In this current reboot Call of Duty cycle, it is the mid-game for me. Alright, we're moving up into A tier for Call of Duty 4. This is the one that started them all. Yeah, it's rather simplistic, but I really can't overstate how much this changed the market. The whole game may seem basic by today's standards, but back then it truly was innovative. We never had anything like it before. With that said, due to the nostalgic attachment to it, it does get overrated a little bit. That's not to say it's bad, but balance could have been a bit better, and some of these map designs are awful. But it was new and refreshing, and my entire life back then was hopping in between Halo 3 and Call of Duty 4. With that said, if I went to my friend's house, we were always playing Halo 2 or 3 instead. Call of Duty had not taken over yet. That was soon to come. Next up, I may get some hate from putting it where it is. It's Modern Warfare 2. Okay, I know this is a fan favorite. If you ask anyone what their favorite Call of Duty game is, they're probably going to answer with Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2. The thing is, what people found fun about this game, I found to be flaws. This game was wild. It was incredibly imbalanced. That was Infinity Ward's idea of fun, but not mine. With that said, I did still enjoy the game, and they added a lot to the Call of Duty formula here. The ability to choose what kill streaks you want, the ability to try to go for a nuke, and of course the gunplay was still the gunplay we had enjoyed from the game before, but now there's so many more guns. One-man army, noob tube be damned, I can't put this game any lower. Next up is Modern Warfare 3. Now this is also probably controversial, but until I went back and played these games, Modern Warfare 3 was surprisingly balanced compared to Modern Warfare 2. Now don't get me wrong, it was certainly not perfect and it definitely had balancing problems, but nothing like Modern Warfare 2 had. I remember this game getting a lot of hate back in the day, and it's a little baffling now. It really was more Modern Warfare 2, but without the one-man army noob tube type issues. So these two are kind of clumped together in my head. Next up, oh boy, this one's gonna make people mad. Vanguard. Now remember, this video is purely talking about multiplayer. Single player can be as bad as you want it, but that's irrelevant to this video. If you ask anyone what the worst Call of Duty multiplayer is of all time, they'll probably answer with either Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 4, or Vanguard. And there's no way. Vanguard wasn't revolutionary by any means, it kind of was more Call of Duty, but after we just got Modern Warfare 2019, that's what I wanted. Cold War didn't give me that, and Vanguard did. The hate I usually see thrown at Vanguard is the fact that it's not historically accurate. And I can't stress enough, I don't care. Call of Duty multiplayer is just a paintball game textured to look like a war anyway. People are going to be slide canceling and jump shotting every corner. If you're looking for realism, Call of Duty is not the franchise to go to. And I acknowledge they went full bonkers in this regard. I mean, hell, Vanguard has an F2000, what? But I just don't care, man. The base gameplay mechanics are solid, the maps are well designed, the guns are wild in a fun way. This had the same fun that Modern Warfare 2019 did for me, where I could tweak with everything and enjoy my time. So if your whole reason for hating Vanguard is that it's not historically accurate, I would understand if this was Red Orchestra 2, but it's not. It's Call of Duty. I'm looking at the gameplay. I'm trying to top the scoreboard. I don't care. And again, you can have your opinion, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong and your opinion is dumb and I hate you or something like that. But I hate that I have to defend this game so much. So I won't. Instead, I'll let Scump defend the game for me.
Vanguard. Best game ever. Not close. Best game ever. Dude, you guys gotta understand this, man. You guys gotta understand me on this one, alright? You guys gotta understand me on this one. If you don't understand, look down to the comments below.
Alright, before we move to the top 3, let's have an honorable mention. This game is not a Call of Duty game, but it might as well be. That's Iron Sight. This might sound crazy before you play this game, but I actually like this game more than any Call of Duty game. This is my favorite Call of Duty game. even though it's not a Call of Duty game. You can see what this is by looking at it on screen. It's a Black Ops 2 clone. I made a whole video just about this game. Go ahead and click the top right to check that out. It's 100% free. You can download it on Steam. Easy. It's also not pay to win, and you don't need to buy anything to unlock everything in the game. It's also not excessively grindy. It's just very good. And it's still being updated with new maps and new guns. Okay, top 3. All of these games are S tier for me. In third place, we have Modern Warfare 2019. I fell out of Call of Duty pretty hard during the jetpack era. I did not like any of those games. I enjoyed the old Call of Duty fast time to kill, boots on the ground feeling. Not only did they bring it back, but they added an entirely new engine with new gunplay mechanics. Gunsmith is exactly what Call of Duty needed. I can change my AK to be whatever I want. If I want this AK to be a 74U, sure. If I want it to be an RPK, sure. Not only was this very cool, but it had actual in-game changes. It's like you were using a totally different gun in the same family, because that's what it was. On top of that, all of these guns were animated so well. On top of that, the gun feel was top-notch. In fact, one of the best out of any game ever, not just Call of Duty games. The gun sounded and looked powerful. It was just immensely satisfying, and I really enjoyed this game. But that only leaves 2 games, both old Treyarch games. In second place, we have Black Ops 1. I was always more on the Treyarch side back in the day. Boy, that changed. New Treyarch feels bad to me. But back then, I looked at this as just an improved version of Modern Warfare 2. You had more balanced maps, you had more balanced guns, you had better feeling guns in my opinion, and you had more fun kill streaks, again in my opinion. This was the slightly more competitive but still casually enjoyable game to me. Again, this was not flawless. It definitely had some balancing issues, but nowhere near as much as, say, Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3. But of course, that leaves only one game for first place. It's Black Ops 2. This is probably not a surprise. Black Ops 2 brought a lot to the table. There was a ton of content on launch. There was a ton of guns to use on launch, and these were balanced in a different way. Almost everything was viable. And these sidearms are, in my opinion, the most satisfying in the whole franchise. And the game brought in the Pick 10 system, where you could make an entire loadout just for your secondary if you wanted to. So many fond memories of getting my highest kill streaks with a loadout based entirely around the B23R. There was also plenty of party games like Gun Game or Sharpshooter. Let's just say there's a reason people usually refer to Black Ops 2 as the best Call of Duty game. And it's not because of nostalgia. This thing was a full package. And not only did it have all the content you would expect, it had more, and the pacing was immaculate. This game just flowed and it worked. It's definitely in my top 5 multiplayer games of all time list, but that marks the end of this list. Hope you guys enjoyed it, or probably got very angry at me and already left a mad comment down below. Huge thanks to my YouTube members, as you can see on screen right now. If you want to join, there's a join button right next to the subscribe button down there. Also, huge thanks to my Twitch subscribers. If you want to join me over on Twitch, you can see what that is at the bottom right. If you want to follow me on Twitter, if that's your thing, my handle's down there bottom left. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.